The United Kingdom has been rocked by a bombshell Supreme Court decision that is sending shockwaves through every level of government. In a stunning moment of national reckoning, Britain's highest court has exposed what many are calling the most brazen betrayal of democracy in modern history, a covert EU reintegration scheme orchestrated behind closed doors by none other than Keir Starmer himself. This wasn't just a legal ruling, it was a thunderous blow to a secret plan that threatened the very foundation of Brexit. At the center of the court's 97-page judgment was an undisclosed EU framework agreement championed by Starmer and a small circle of advisors. What appeared to be harmless economic talks was in fact a carefully engineered strategy to realign the UK with EU laws without a public vote, debate in Parliament, or even public awareness. For months, the plan operated in secrecy, but thanks to a whistleblower and a judicial review, the truth has exploded into public view. The court accused Starmer's team of deliberate obfuscation, democratic bypass, and institutional dishonesty. Language in the agreement had been strategically crafted to conceal EU alignment, replacing direct references with terms like regulatory streamlining to avoid political backlash. The judgment confirmed what many suspected: Labour's leadership had never accepted Brexit and had quietly prepared a phased return to EU influence. Internal memos outlined steps for regulatory harmonization and judicial cooperation with the EU, all framed as domestic policy changes. Had the plan gone ahead, Britain could have been 85% realigned with EU law within just 5 years without any referendum or parliamentary consent. Public reaction was swift and furious. Protests erupted across the country. Outside Parliament, demonstrators chanted "Brexit betrayed" and "Starmer must go." Talk radio, social media, and online forums exploded with anger. Voters across the political spectrum, including moderates and former Labour supporters, expressed outrage at what they now view as a betrayal of democracy. Inside Westminster, panic spread. Several Labour MPs reportedly confronted the leadership demanding answers. One called the scheme political suicide, warning that if Starmer didn't resign, the party risked total collapse. Meanwhile, Conservative and Reform UK MPs have called for a full parliamentary inquiry and possible criminal investigations. Nigel Farage declared that Starmer had tried to sneak Britain through the servants' entrance back into the EU, vowing that the public would not forgive this betrayal.
Farage's Britain betrayed tour drew massive crowds, resonating not only with staunch Brexiteers but also with disillusioned Labour voters. Even more damning, leaked EU documents revealed that Brussels had been fully aware of Starmer's covert plan. Described internally as a British reintegration corridor, the EU had quietly prepared to welcome the UK back into its systems without the political friction of a formal accession process. This foreign coordination only fueled public fury. In response, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak called for an emergency parliamentary session and announced the Sovereignty Protection Act, which would criminalize international agreements that bypass Parliament or public consent. The bill, already drafted, is expected to pass with broad support, including from Labour rebels. Meanwhile, legal consequences may follow. The Attorney General's office is reviewing the case to determine whether Starmer or others could face charges for misconduct in public office, a serious offense. Several senior civil servants have already resigned, citing ethical concerns. Across Britain, protests are intensifying. In Birmingham and Glasgow, thousands marched demanding accountability. Outside Labour HQ in London, crowds shouted "Traitors out" and "Respect the vote." Tensions are rising, with security tightened in anticipation of further unrest. The Labour Party is in chaos. Shadow cabinet resignations appear imminent. Constituency offices are flooded with angry letters. Behind closed doors, party insiders are urging Starmer to step down before the weekend. A senior strategist admitted, "We've been handed a ticking time bomb, and no one wants to be holding it." Farage and Reform UK are surging in popularity, overtaking Labour in some regional polls. Disillusioned voters are abandoning mainstream parties in favor of movements that promise transparency and national sovereignty. The question on everyone's mind is chilling. How close did Britain come to silently surrendering its sovereignty? Had the Supreme Court not intervened, the UK could have been dragged back under EU influence in silence. The betrayal wasn't just political, it was personal. Millions of voters are demanding answers. Starmer has not appeared in public. His only statement so far dismissed the ruling as a mischaracterization of policy objectives, a line that few believe. Behind the scenes, Labour MPs are split between loyalty and survival. Even former allies are distancing themselves, admitting they were unaware of the full extent of the plan. The scandal has exposed not just political maneuvering, but a deep rift between the public and the elite. This was not an isolated policy misstep. It was a detailed, covert effort to reverse a national mandate. Now, as Britain faces the fallout, the people are making it clear they will not be silenced again. The tide is turning, and what comes next may reshape British politics for a generation. Stay alert, stay informed,